I'll start it off pretty straightforward. Ragnir is a pretty dope legend. I never really liked him from when I started playing Brawlhalla, mainly because he's an animal legend, but also because he just didn't feel right to me. And then about 2 years later, I started playing him a little more, and I grew onto him. He's a good boy, that's for sure. We'll jump straight into his SIGs, which are actually pretty damn good. Not super top tier, but up there. Guitar Insig is a damn great dunking SIG. Could be used similarly to Asuri Guitar Insig. Personally, I think Asuri's is better, but Ragnar's is still pretty good. Guitar Side Sig might be his worst Guitar Sig, but it can be used for decent dodgeries on the ground. Rarely. Guitar Down Sig is a pretty neat edge guarding tool and has pretty good force too. Better than Guitar Side Sig, that's for sure, but worse than Guitar In Sig. X In Sig goes pretty good with a side light. True if you hit it in a specific spot, if I recall correctly. But even if you don't get it true, it covers a decent amount of dodges too. Best Sig in my opinion. X Side Sig has its onstage variation, which I don't think is super great, but it's not horrible. X Side Sig's offstage variation I think is much better, and can be used pretty well slide charged. Same goes with X Down Sig, and even that Sig works stupidly well for some reason. People run into it way too much, and I can't seem to wrap my head around it. Maybe just because they expect it to last a shorter amount of time, I don't know. Ragnir also has some pretty dope skins. Most are great, and maybe just one or two of them aren't, so we'll cover them quickly since he has a decent amount. Nightshade Ragnir is by far my favorite skin of his. Looks amazing, has probably one of the best guitars or acts in the game, looks great with colors, and it's just overall great. I believe Inferno Ragnir is also very good, for some of the same reasons. Not much to say about it. Sobek Ragnir. I might have lost you, but hear me out. The weapons are dope, and it looks amazing with specific colors like St. Patty's. Personally love it next to Nightshade. The three in pretty good tier are pretty good skins, although I don't see them as very memorable. I think they're dope skins, of course, no reason not to use them. If anything, these three could be in god tier with the other three. In the middle is a different story though. Ash's Ragnir is pretty good, although it's less memorable than pretty good tier, and I know I'll get a lot of crap for saying that. Not bad, of course. Ragnosaurus Rex is also a tough pick, although it actually looks pretty good with colors and has okay weapons, I'm not entirely sure. Simplistic is the right word, I think. Could go down a tier, but I think the skin itself carries itself to mid. Ragnir the Covetous also just isn't so memorable, honestly. Werebat and Frost Guardian are much more memorable because it tackles more interesting themes, but it still isn't bad. Unique look and everything, actually very good weapons too. Then Raphael is a new crossover, which I think is decent. Most crossovers I decide go in mid-tier just about because they are just about mid-tier. Some have really good sig effects though, including Raphael. And now onto the worst skins. Med-tier just consists of Mecha, which I think is unique, sure, but Mecha skins really tend to never be that great looking, for whatever reason. Goes from Mecha Suri, Taros, and so on, including Ragnir. Not so cool weapons either really, okay with colors. And the only Ragnir skin I think just isn't worth using is Celestial. It's not great with colors, really bad weapons, and is one of Ragnir's less flashy looking skins. I'd suggest any other Ragnir skin over this one. Tier list wise, out of S, A, B, C, and D, I'd place Ragnir in about A or B tier. Axe and guitars aren't really top tier weapons, but they are about A tier. Ragnir's SIGs aren't S tier, but they're also about A tier. Ragnir's skins are not all S tier, placing them overall in A tier. You get the gist, right? Ragnir is an overall balanced legend. There isn't a lot to him that I think needs changing, really. Even if there is any changing that should happen, it should maybe just be a small nerf or buff to some of his SIGs or his weapons in general. Alright, wait. I have to cut in real quick. I almost forgot to mention his play rate, which before patch 5.07 was just around average. Although, because Raphael is here, it was bumped up to 7th most. Honestly, good for Ragnir, but that seems like a lot, especially for him. Either way, I hope this gives him a bit more recognition. His stats are also decently balanced, although I think the lower speed may be why people don't like him over other more speedy guitar or axe legends. But I think he's overall balanced, and you really don't see people complain about him either. Like I said, he's a good boy. There wasn't a lot to say about Ragnir in that section, mainly because I think he's pretty balanced. Unlike some other legends, for example, which I have more to say on. So that should wrap it up for this legend analysis. Thanks for watching, and keep on brawling.